Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before I get started, let's address something, maybe one or two things. I think one. I know, and I'm sure people are going to leave below. Dude, did you hear what happened to Mandy Rose? Yes, I did. I heard she was released, but I am not going to do a video on it right now. It's too soon. Even though there's some information that is out about her and what happened. Yes, I know what happened. I know the information about her. But I'm going to leave it for a little bit. I want to see what more information that will be coming out in the next couple of days, or at least about a week. I don't want to rush off and do it. Even though I'm surprised, I am, that they basically got rid of her for what she did. I understand, particularly that they needed her. If you think they didn't need Mandy Rose in the main roster, you're a joke. No disrespect, but you're joking. They needed her on the main roster. She was ready. But this happened. So I'm leaving it until I get some more information for the next maybe a couple of days or a week. Maybe more will come out about the situation that we don't know about yet. Also, the second one. My thoughts on the 9 Lives of Vince McMahon in documentary and what was spoken about of him possibly returning. I'm also leaving that because I want to find out what other information as well is going to possibly be released in the next couple of days, a week. Yes, more allegations have come out. Some of them even older than the ones that have been known in the 90s and 2000s. So I'm leaving it. I'm going to wait and see information that's going to develop. So I am leaving it at that. Let's get to Winter's Coming 3. This is number 3. Now, was this a good show? Yes. Did it progress some things? Yes, it did. Now, I'm not telling you that AEW looks great. No. It's been fluctuating up and down for quite a while. But I have to say that this show was good. And we got someone doing something you didn't expect he would do. And this is the reason why he's so good. Now, the best of 7 match 4 between Death Triangle and the Elite. Now, supposedly, Nick possibly was actually hurt. I don't think so. I think it's part of the story where at one point during the match, his ankle got twisted and he was taken to the back. So it was only Matt and Kenny trying to get the job done. Eventually he did come back. But in the end, due to the fact his ankle was hurt, and I believe it was right ankle, they took the hammer out and they whacked the hell out of it. And he was pinned by a Ray Phoenix, who seems to be getting used to this situation because he wasn't happy before. And he still doesn't seem 100% happy, but he's still willing to keep the damn titles. Then we get a Kenny saying in the ring, I know no one told me to do this, but you know what? I'm getting sick and tired of this damn hammer. Let's do something here. The next match we have, let's have a no DQ match. And that match, the hammer will be legal. He actually said first, let's make a match that the hammer is legal. No, let's make a match that anything is legal, no DQ. So also they did talk later in the night that match 5 would be the no DQ match because it was booked. Number 6 would be Falls Count Anywhere. And then number 7, if it reached that far, which we know it's going to, it will be a ladder match. That's what we're going to get for 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the best of 7, if it goes that far, which we know it will. Because people are still very invested, particularly they love Kenny. They love their Kenny. So that's what we got. Now, our next match, Brian Cage versus Jungle Boy. I'm sorry. I do not agree with this. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. Look, guys. You guys know how I feel about Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I don't have a problem with him. But what happened to Luchasaurus? What happened to Luchasaurus where finally we thought they were going to do something with someone that people really liked or really liked to hate? They could do something where he could springboard from Jungle Boy, which wouldn't kill him. It wouldn't destroy his character. It wouldn't take anything from him. They can even do a circle of pretty much from the beginning where Luchasaurus turned on Jungle Boy. They both went their separate ways. Both of them began to rise. And then eventually culminated in something that could be meaningful. Like, let's say Jungle Boy gets the TNT title back. And Luchasaurus, who was still a heel, actually tried to get it, but decided at the end of that run, going all the way to getting that TNT title shot, he turns face again and then re-embraces Jungle Boy. That could have been a very good arc. No, they've done nothing with him. So for me personally, it's making me spit. I'm angry that Jungle Boy is being booked the way he is, where now he went up against a Brian Cage where he beats his ass, and now that he's beaten Brian Cage and he says it, I've beaten Brian Cage, where the hell is Big Bill? I want his ass. And he gets laid out, doesn't mean that he's going to lose against Big Bill. I find this sucks. I'm sorry, this is not the way you book your big men, that they're constantly getting beaten by smaller guys. I'm sorry. I've heard what happened with Miro, that he's home not because he's injured, not because he's suspended, it's because they got nothing for him. You got nothing for freaking Miro the Redeemer when they had something for him. When they had the Redeemer gimmick and people were loving it. This is what they do with their big men. I've been saying this since the beginning of AEW. They don't know how to book their big men. They've never been able to book them correctly. They've screwed every big man that could be useful as a face or even as a heel. It's stupid. I'm saying. Now, I also want to say, I have to say this. Due to the fact that Brian Cage did win the Trios title, well, the six-man title in RH, I do know, hearing it, that AEW has managed to get something sort of like a deal on a website or a streaming service, not a network. And supposedly the only way you're going to be able to see it is you got to pay some cash. People would say, see, they're finally doing something. No, they're not. They're not. I'm being honest here. I'm saying this right now. For me, in my perspective, I'll pirate the damn thing. Because honestly, this should have never gone this far. Let's be honest here. What have they done with the ROH titles and the ROH wrestlers? Nothing. They mix them in with the AEW people instead of leaving them on YouTube. If you don't agree with me, fine. But let's be honest here. Do you know who's on the roster? You don't. Because even though if you go to the website and take a look, where they'll talk about those people, you don't even know if they are being active or they've been basically working in other places or just sitting home doing nothing. And then the titles feel more legitimate than the AEW titles. You take them off the show where there's going to be a major issue. If Tony does not have a team to book those titles that are from AEW correctly once ROH is finally separated, he's going to have to bring them back. You know why? Because the ROH titles have more feeling than the AEW titles. And they shouldn't. And that's the reason why a lot of people have been complaining about it. I'm just saying, this is what I feel about it. Maybe I shouldn't pirate. That's just not good. I just won't watch. Better yet, instead of pirating, I won't watch. I'm not spending $10 or $5 on ROH when it should be on YouTube. Period. Now, let's get to the House of Black destroying a whole bunch of jobbers from the factory. Let me give it to you like this. Do I believe Julia Hart's doing good? Yes. Do I believe Brody King is doing good? Don't know. It counts on what they're going to do next. Are they doing anything with Buddy? I'm not sure. Buddy Matthews. I don't know. But are they going to do something with Malachi Black? I don't know. I'm going to be honest here. This looked great. You saw Calibra. What is the guy? I forgot the guy's name because I don't see him much. And he got sprayed in the face by Julia. Instead of Malachi doing it, it was Julia who did it, which was good. They were destroyed, and QT Marshall was given the spin kick of doom. He got laid out, and he was pinned by Malachi. But knowing how things are still going in AEW, I don't know if they're going to be booked correctly. I don't know. I'm hoping, but I don't know. Even though Julia looks great in her role as their keeper, their manager, their muse, as they would say. That's just me. Now, let's get to Swerve Strickland. I'm telling you this. Finally. Supposedly, they're done. They're finally separated. For me personally, this should have happened weeks ago, or maybe even a month ago. It's obvious they were thinking of doing this and they didn't want to pull the trigger for quite a while. To be honest, I think this was a lot longer than it should have been. And I don't care about what just Alex says, even though he probably say this is perfect to do it, or JD. To be honest, if you're going to see it for the way it is, I truly do believe that they took too long to do this. Doesn't mean it won't work, but it didn't need to take so long to drag it out. Because, to be honest, Swerve should have already turned on Keith Lee a while ago. I'm just saying. Now, FTR. Let me give it you like this about FTR. Now dealing with the Gun Club, I'm actually happy about that. Because the Gun Club needed something. They're heels now. They're not with their dad. And honestly, seeing that the Gun Club is now working with FTR, who are well-known, very good tag team specialists who can talk quite well. Dax and Cash can talk. So it's good to see this. The question is going to be, what are they going to do with them? And that's FTR when it comes to the AAA tag titles and the New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP tag titles, heavyweight tag titles. What are they doing with them? I mean, we don't see them defending them on AEW TV. They're not going to. It looks like their agreement is they can carry them into AEW, but very rarely or not at all they will defend them. So seeing this and seeing these guys having those damn titles, to be honest, I want one of those titles up for grabs for the Gun Club. Not because I think they're great, but because FTR has to defend them now that ROH is now gone to them boys. That's the deal. They need to start defending those titles to make them feel legitimate, because just carrying them is not enough. Just like when it comes to Hiro Kushida, and that she has a title from, I don't remember which promotion she's got it from, now that she's going after Jamie Hayter. I don't feel anything about her title. It means nothing. If she defends on Dark, or Dark Elevation, means absolutely nothing. She needs to defend it on Dynamite or Rampage. Because I'm not going to watch Elevation, Dark Elevation, or Dark. I watch Dynamite. I watch Rampage. And I'm not going to do any damn research, because AEW is supposed to do that for you. That is what the video packages are for. That is what the in-ring segments are for. That is for the interviews in the back. That is how you get people to care. People still go by what's on the show. And if they don't want to be willing to do that and say, look on the damn internet, you're going to lose more people. I'm just saying. And I like to see them do this. It may be very old. It may be very overdone. But it does help people to really believe in those people. Now, we got, and I'm moving on to the next one, Ruby Soho versus Ty Mello. Now, this is an automatic story due to the fact that Ty accidentally broke Ruby's nose. And I remember that match, that she broke that nose, and I saw her nose bleeding, and I thought, that can't be. Is that real? It's got to be real. She looks like she got her nose shattered, and it was. Total nasal reconstruction. That means they had to fix all this and the nasal passages. All that had to be reconstructed because it was shattered from what they said. So this was an automatic story. Here's the problem. You just gave it to us on normal television without a build-up going into it. If they did it on Dark Elevation or Dark, I don't care. You got an automatic story that you could have put on Dynamite or Rampage. Better yet, throw it on Rampage first. Have them fight one another for weeks. They don't even have to be in the ring. Just let Ruby Soho say how damn angry she is that she went up against Ty, and Ty not only broke her nose but enjoyed it. That's all you got to do. No. No. We get just this match out here where there's an automatic story, but it's no build-up, no payout, nothing important. Not even giving Ruby this moment to really enjoy. Particularly once Anna Jay came in after the match was over and laid her out. I felt nothing. When are they going to realize they need to give these women time to build up their stories? Is it only going to be about, what, Jade Cargill? Britt Baker? Maybe? Jamie Hayter? Maybe? What happened to Selena Deeps if she's still there? What about Madison Rayne? What about Kiera Hogan? What about, I know that she's been on their Willow Nightingale, but has she been in a storyline that makes her important? Very little. You got 4 women you could be using. And not even talking about any of the female Japanese wrestlers. I feel nothing. And that's pissing me off. Let's move on. Now, let's get this one done, which makes me quite happy. He jobbed for us. That's the title I'm using. And that is Chris Jericho versus an unknown Axon Andreas. There you go. Axon Andreas or Axel Andreas. I don't know which one. Axon or Axel. But I expected this to be a squash match. I expected because he lost to a Claudio Castagnoli, which, yeah, I did see the video pack. Well, not the video pack, but basically when they were talking about they're ready for anybody, and that is Moxley, that is Yuta, and Claudio himself. They're ready for the next people. But seeing this match shows you that Chris Jericho cares about this business. At one point, he tore and cut open somewhere on his forearm. I think his left or right his forearm. He cut himself. And he just kept going. He didn't stop. He didn't want to stop because he wanted to make this guy look good. And was the match great? No, it wasn't bad. The Texas crowd, I think it was in Dallas, was good, yes. They were very behind, and what is it? And what was his name? Andreas. There you go. Andreas. I think they were really behind him. I don't know if he was a local wrestler from one of the promotions there or not. It don't matter. They were behind Andreas. And in the end, I expected he'd get the Judas effect to the face or code breaker. He kicked out of the code breaker, which surprised Chris. And he managed to get out of the walls of Jericho, which was the Lion Tamer. And eventually he rolled him up. And he pinned his ass. And Chris looked completely defeated, which was perfect. And then after it was over, he exploded in the back, blaming Claudio for his loss because he just lost his title as the Ocho. Or Orcho. I've never been good with Spanish. Yeah, I'm half Spanish. I don't speak it. This is one of my shortcomings. Didn't grow up with it. But the point is, he looked great while doing it. Andreas looked great. Well, even though he was green. It's obvious. You could see he was green. But Chris made him look really good. The crowd was going crazy for him. Chris was outraged and went to the back and tried to tear everything up, which is fine. I liked it. And it's not because Chris is telling a great story. It's because he's doing the fundamentals of putting someone over that is young, that you think could be something for the company, or at least something for pro wrestling itself. Not saying that he will, but at least he's doing it. Finally, we get our... Oh, wait. Hangman Page, almost forgot. Did I enjoy Hangman Page's interview? Yes. Talking about what happened when he got concussed, what happened when he was asked about the picture of his son on his phone, and he couldn't remember his name for at least an hour. It's good for that story, since he's still supposedly in the story, or possibly in real life, still not cleared, even though he is cleared, because he couldn't fight Moxley the way he did. He would not be allowed to be touched because he would still be concussed. He's fine. But they're saying he's not. Fine. But now here's the match of the night. And that is the AEW world title and diamond ring match. I thought that, I'm confused. If you guys remember, wasn't Ricky Starks able to have 2 matches? He would have his current match and then the diamond ring match. They combined them into one. He was supposed to be able to get a shot at the diamond ring and the AEW title, and they decided to combine them both. I don't really agree with that, but that's what they did. I would have thought this was about the diamond dynamite ring, but it wasn't. And I'm going like, why did you do that? This was a chance to milk a little bit more out of this. Why didn't you do it? I don't understand. If he did Winter's Coming for the Dynamite Diamond Ring, then the next pay-per-view, or at least the beginning of January, you could have had a really fresh match where, yeah, MJF won the match and kept his Dynamite Diamond Ring for the next 4th year. But he still could have had the title match. Why didn't they do it? What happened? Is there something wrong with Ricky? Is there something wrong with MJF? Was it because of what happened with Bryan Danielson? I'll get to that in a minute. Why? It feels like they just crushed it all together because they want to get it all done before the end of the year. And I don't agree with it. I don't know what JD or just Alex is going to think or anyone else. I don't agree with it. I think that was foolish. They could have had 2 separate matches where the payout could even be more substantial. When you saw the match, it was well done. Ricky, as I've said, when he first entered AEW, had something. I saw it when I was looking at NWA. I knew Ricky Starks was something. He wasn't just some drop in the pan. And there was more than a few people when he first started saying, he's nothing. He can't talk. He's annoying. Look at him now. He's over. He was over. So in the match, it was well done. Now, of course, when it came to getting nut-shotted, that's what happened. You know MJF is going to do whatever he's going to do. He nut-shotted his ass. So, in the end, that's it. Ricky's done because they combined both matches. You see I'm getting angry. The Dynamite Diamond Ring match and the World Title match. They combined them, which was stupid. Then we get, after MJF goes all the way up the ramp, Bryan Danielson coming out. He's back. And he chased down MJF until he jumped into the crowd, which is the second time he did that because he did do it within the first 10 minutes of the match. He did jump into the crowd out of frustration, dealing with a Ricky Starks that got over on him when he was getting over on Ricky because he was doing the Ric Flair strut. And yes, I know Ric Flair also did a documentary along with a Vince and Kenny McMahon. I ain't talking about it because we don't need to, because this is, how many times has he done the documentary? This is the second time he done the documentary. The first one, which was done on him, that was important until another documentary was done on the Flight from Hell, which screwed him up. And then he gets another one that is now airing alongside the 9 Lives of Vince and Kenny McMahon, who is talking about coming back, which I will do a video later when more information comes in. Gotta breathe. But you get my point. This was done well. But did you have to do this to Ricky? Because of Bryan Danielson? You couldn't stretch this out a little bit and set up Bryan coming back and then eventually going after an MJF. They wanted to just blow the load so early? I don't get it. Did something happen? That's a big question. Maybe something happened. Maybe it's because what's about to happen to ROH that they decided to accelerate this. Maybe. I don't know. But you guys tell me below what you think, and I hope you enjoy this Dynamite delight. Please leave your comment below. I'm wondering what more is going to come out about Mandy Rose and what more is going to come out about Vincent Kenny McMahon. I don't know. But we'll find out. Peace.